Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Engine Room Show.
Are we putting the conversation that we had on before on?
No.
Oh, sorry. Oh, you missed out. Hilarious.
Oh, and it's great that you've told everyone that, so that now what follows will only be perceived as worse than what went before.
Oh, it's always worse anyway.
Yeah. But that's my point. Is that you've just like
that's why I've stopped
you've
doing
set it up for disappointment.
musical openings, because the after effect and what comes after is always rubbish
compared to the musical opening.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, about that.
But last episode's wit coming out of Mr. Humphreys was second to none.
I was on fire.
You were.
Last week.
Now that technically it's the same day, I hope you got some wit first today.
I do. I've kept them in reserve.
Excellent, grand. Anyway, welcome to the Engine Room Show.
You can find
Thank you for welcoming me to the Engine Room Show.
on twitter.com/Engine Room Show. We are on Facebook. Same thing. You can get our YouTube channel if you do some kind of Googling. It'll probably show up at some point.
Doesn't on Google.
Does that?
No. Our SEO is terrible.
Why you're saying that like it's my fault?
Well, your mate set up the website, didn't he?
What?
No, I set it up.
Alright,
It's all
you
our
set up
homework.
the website, didn't you?
It's not the website we can't find, it's just our YouTube channel. Get over yourself.
Can't find the website either.
The website is there.
I've searched Google, the Engine Room Show,
Sorry,
and
but
something weird.
repeatedly I've emailed you and text messaged you both the address and your login details.
Oh no, I
so
know
that
the
you
address.
could actually go.
But like, you know, when somebody says, "Oh, what's the address?" It's like, just Google it.
Guys, like I said in Friends, we've got guests.
Yes.
So just keep the bickering. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nicola Watkins. Nicola Watkins, of course, you will know from NicolaWatkinsPR.com. We can find your website.
I don't have a website.
Yeah, I was just about to step in there, but I'll let you embarrass yourself.
Well, I know if I need to email Nicola somehow, that's the address I use.
Do you have a Twitter account?
I have a Twitter account.
Okay.
I'm on a Facebook and LinkedIn
There
and
you go.
Pinterest. Yeah. So all you
And
have
you probably
to do,
have a landline as well, do you?
I do
Yeah.
indeed.
Somewhere.
What are you pinning on Pinterest?
All sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
Netflix,
Mostly
Netflix stuff.
Netflix. Fiestas.
Fiesta. Oh yeah.
Not Spanish parties.
No. We are enthralled by this career you have as a Fiesta driver.
That's right. My new career, my racing career,
Tell us that.
taking off in midlife. Yeah.
We all need something.
Absolutely. Well, I suppose now, in fairness, I started in motorsport.
It's hill climb, wasn't it?
No, mud plugging.
Mud plugging.
Sporting car trials.
What is mud plugging?
Mud
I know
plugging.
what it is.
Yeah.
I've never done it, but I'd love to do it.
It's brilliant,
Yeah,
and it's and you should do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. Mud plugging is if you've ever seen bike trials,
Yeah.
mud plugging is very similar. You have a course which is laid out on farms, forestry, quarries, you name it.
Okay.
And you've got 6 sections, and the sections are laid out with stakes that are 6 feet apart, and they're numbered from 10 to 0.
Okay.
And they will be under, over, and up hills, down hills. So it'll be quite a complicated course,
Right.
and quite tight.
And you have to
now
learn the
navigate.
course first.
You have
do
to learn the course and drive through the course without stopping or without hitting a stake. And the aim is to get to 0 without doing any of those.
Right.
It's kind of a bit like, sorry, but it's kind of like an off-road version of the auto test challenge.
Can this be the next challenge with mixed garage then?
Hey, mud plugging.
Yeah.
We can bring we can
Yeah.
have
Bring an expert. In fairness, they did that at the auto test. They brought like the son of the 10-time auto test champion of Ireland and just said, "This guy works in mixed garage." No, he doesn't.
Auto testing is a different story. Auto testing is quite difficult.
Who are you
no,
telling?
because I've
found
tried
that
to auto
easy,
test,
yeah.
and I find
We lost.
the auto test course is usually very complicated, and you've got to go backwards as well.
Yeah.
So I found auto testing quite tricky.
Okay.
But mud
Mud
plugging,
plugging-
you're going all in the same direction.
Right.
It's just a case of not stopping and not hitting.
And what kind of vehicle are you driving a mud
It's
plugging?
a mud plugger. It's a buggy. They're custom built. They come in both front engine and rear engine cars. They would have started out. Shane would have built them. You know, he would have been the original builder of them.
Oh, for Formula Shane.
Formula
Okay.
Shane. Yeah, but he would have actually built Shane VW mud pluggers.
Wow.
Amazing.
Go back, like we were mud plugging 30 odd years, and my dad is probably.
What are you talking about?
Since you were 2?
Yeah.
What?
Mine is 2.
But you know what? The lovely thing about it is you can start at 14. I learnt to drive in a mud plugger when I was 11. And my dad is 78 and he's still mud plugging.
You're joking.
Oh yeah, he loves it. Absolutely loves it. My dad and my uncle built an amazing mud plugger
I've
about
seen
3 or
this.
4 years ago.
Your
Yeah.
dad's drive, wasn't it, for a while?
Oh yeah, well that was my car, which
Okay.
is sort of falling apart a little bit. But we've two in the garage at home that
Right.
I need to get back out. So that's usually
That's where you started then,
that's
was
where I
it?
started, and that's a winter motorsport.
Okay, right.
Whereas then the racing, the Fiesta racing, and obviously the track racing then is more of a summer sport.
And how is it a progression? Is like mud plugging a place to start and then you go up to, or are they interchangeable?
they're two totally different sports. Mud
Right.
plugging is quite slow. There's no speed involved. It's skill.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
So you're not okay. You'll have to have a certain amount of momentum to
Sure.
keep going and but it's not. There's no timing to it.
Okay.
There's no stopwatch.
Is it an expensive form of motorsport?
No, it's not. It's actually very reasonable.
Is
The
it?
entry's
Okay.
the entry's very reasonable.
So it's not like
and-
Formula 1, which is quite expensive.
Yes, that's the most
Slight
most
difference,
most
yeah.
It's like
expensive.
you need mechanics and everything on standby.
True.
Yeah.
And everybody needs a helmet and a comm set.
Yeah.
So like that runs into cost. Sorry, go
Yeah.
on.
It's at least €20 ahead.
Matching overalls then. Yeah.
Mud plugging or sporting car trials is the cheapest form of motorsport, I would say. I mean, the entries are probably, I don't know what they're probably about €40 now for a
Okay.
trial. And it's a full long day. You start at
Right.
12 o'clock and you don't finish until 4. And you do those 6 sections twice. And
Sounds
I mean,
awesome.
you go out in all weathers. Like you go out in waterproofs and wellies, and you come home covered in muck and all sorts of other.
Brilliant.
Like all forms of motorsport though, is there like the serious high end
Oh, yeah.
pro
Yeah.
guys that take it really
Yes,
seriously?
very much so.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
there is. Yeah, there's guys. I mean, you've got guys like the Erskines who are sort of around my dad's age, who have built probably 10 or more mud pluggers over the years,
Right.
and they are state of the art. They are absolutely
Wow.
state of the art. They are immaculately built, and they're the best performing cars.
Okay.
Now a number of other people have replicated that style of building, and those cars are now the cars that are doing really
Okay.
well.
And tell us then, when you started this Fiesta stuff, what age were you then? When did you first go out on a track in a Fiesta?
That was just earlier this year.
You're
so
joking.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
the first season. It was
It was the first season.
this-
So the
yeah,
Fiesta,
yeah,
basically, Mondello introduced this new Fiesta class only in April this year.
Okay.
They were looking for a low-cost class, which they could introduce and which would bring new people into the sport, and it would bring people who had raced previously back to the sport. So there've been a number of classes over the years, like Unos, Puntos, which have sort of gone by the wayside a little bit. So they brought Fiestas back in April, and I think Leo Nolte had a bet with John Morrison Mondello that they would get 20 cars for the first race meeting.
Right.
And we've actually got sort of in the average of 35 to 38 cars now racing on a weekend. So it's brilliant.
Wow.
It's been phenomenal for motorsport in Ireland. It's probably most successful class that has ever competed. Yeah.
And what are the, like, if you like rules, or what are the requirements then? Because you can't just go out. Well, no, you can't. I presume you don't go out and buy a 132 Fiesta and just rock up with a 1.1 liter engine.
It's Zetec Fiesta 1.25 engine, and you have to put in all your safety equipment.
Roll cages.
So full roll cage, 6-point harness, plumbed-in fire extinguisher. So there's a kit that you can buy to put into the car.
And how much is that going to run you, the kit, in a round?
The kit's about €1,600.
And then the car you can pick
You
up
can
for
pick
whatever.
up a Fiesta
like-
anywhere. I mean, the best thing to do is
Hey, there's 35 in there, just hop in one.
we're all very protective of our
I can
over our
imagine,
Fiestas.
yeah.
Now, there's a couple that are rent though. I mean, there are a couple to rent.
Right.
You can pick up a car, anything between €300 and €500 for a car.
But does it have to be an old Fiesta, or can you get a if you've
No,
got the?
no,
if
it
you've
has
got
to
the-
be. It has to be
Zetec.
within a certain year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it has to be 1.25. And there's two. I think there's just two deviations that
So
you're
you can have
allowed.
like the 3-door or the,
Yeah, you can use a
5-door.
3-door or a 5-door. Obviously, the 3-door is better because it's lighter.
Yeah.
Because our minimum weight that we run on is 940 kilograms. So you want to be as close to that
It's
weight
like
as
me
you
and
possibly
Cooper
can.
together. Like, it's like
Yeah. But one thing I noticed about it, because I only started going on the track recently with doing engine room stuff and stuff with BMW Motorrad on motorbikes. I've never been on a track up until the last 12 months. And one thing I've noticed is it's not what you're driving, it's actually the person does it, because like the track itself will just allow you to go as fast as you possibly can. So it doesn't matter, like if you've got a Porsche up against a Fiesta, if the Fiesta driver is better than the Porsche driver, the Fiesta's obviously going to win to it. So can you change? can you take an advantage by changing the engine, or
No, you have to run on the standard engine. The whole thing about the class is that it's a low cost class.
Yeah.
That they don't want people going off and
putting nitro in it,
or rebuilding engines
Yeah.
and making huge differences to the car. So they want to keep it as level a playing field as possible.
And how have you gotten on? Have you had any
Great.
victories or podiums?
No victories. I'm still learning. I mean,
Right.
it's
Yes.
such not yet. It's a learning curve. Like it's a massive learning curve, because you go out first and you do your laps, and you do laps after laps after laps, and you're trying to get your times down.
Okay.
And then it's a whole new story when you go out on the track with 28 cars.
Race, yeah.
is there collisions? Like, are you bumping off each other all the time?
Okay. It's supposed to be a non-contact sport.
Yeah.
So it's more like stock car, really, isn't it?
No, it's not. No. I mean,
There's a bit of rubbing going on.
There's been they've always said rubbing is racing. If you
It's also something else. And what's the name of that German fluid that you use?
I'm not going
so it's the racing has been very close this year.
Okay.
And we've all learned a lot by it. I've been in a Fiesta sandwich a couple of times.
Spicy.
I have a lovely black tar mark in the driver's door, and a couple of dents and bumps, but it hasn't been too bad. I mean, I suppose because I was racing so I was at the back of the pack, I tried to stay out of the damage as much as possible. I had a couple of near ones, and you get bumped, and it's.
And are there guys like who are coming from other forms of racing who are super experienced and know Montello?
Yeah.
Like, people know the Nürburgring, and they're just.
There's guys who've come into Fiestas this year who would have raced in Unos and Puntos.
Okay.
Gordon Kellett went out in a race. Who else is racing? Barry Hallian, JJ Reardon. They've all raced in other classes and done really well in other classes. And then you've guys who are literally just 17 years of age who are coming into racing for the first time.
And they're fearless.
Oh, they're fearless. Yeah. Yeah. Kahunas of steam. It's just,
what's the wall? I don't care.
No, it is. It's just flat to the floor, and they have. It's so that's, I suppose, that one thing that I feel I have a little bit of a disadvantage over, in that there's a fear factor there that I probably wouldn't have had when I was a lot younger.
Yeah, but it's also,
I think
it's also preservation.
But the older you get, the more fearful you become. Like,
well, yeah.
Why is that though? Why do we do that? Let's talk science.
I'm scared of you.
I'm scared of you with that beard. How many trees did you chop down today, by the way?
4.
Nice.
I don't even use an axe.
Nice.
Is this going to run next year as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the class is growing. And I think just even talking to Murray's Motorsport the other day, they've had a lot of interest in people buying kits already for next year. And
what do you think about an engine room Fiesta?
Why don't you build an engine room Fiesta?
So we need a trailer for it anyway, so that's a cost.
It's all a cost, but I mean, we're sponsored.
Are we?
Yeah, by Netflix. Didn't Nicola works for Netflix.
So Netflix engine room Fiesta.
That could be done, Nicola. Come on. You know that. Double branding all over the car.
I wish.
Come on.
I wish.
I know. I've a place to keep it too.
Really?
Yeah.
Mead?
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
You should win.
Seriously, that would be so much crack.
Yeah.
But the only thing is,
Yeah.
you would get into the car
Yeah.
and you would fight over who's going to race it.
Oh, no, just take a turn.
No, we don't.
Oh, the Humphreys.
Humphreys race.
Yeah.
we're just the pit crew.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pit crew. He's a pom-pom girl.
Yeah.
But you know what? I always said during the year I wanted a grid boy.
Right.
Hello.
Well, we are available.
Yeah.
You know,
He looks good in a one-piece biker suit as well.
They bring out the grid girls for certain race meetings, and I said, "This is not fair." I said, "I want a grid boy."
Why have a grid boy when you can have 3 grid boys?
Well, look, I actually wanted to talk to you about this because it's not typical that there is a lady involved in motor racing. Like, not to make too big a deal of it, but it is a male-dominated sport.
There's very few of us. I mean, there's probably about 5 or 6 women racing in Mandela at the moment. And
there are probably 500 people men racing. Like, I mean, the numbers are.
Yeah, the numbers.
Stark.
The numbers are. It's probably about 95%.
Right.
Men.
And how do you find that? Is it an oppressive environment? I mean, it's. It's obviously not stopping you going out having a great time, but is it?
No, it's not stopping me. Okay, sometimes it can be a little bit intimidating, but I suppose I grew up in the sport.
Right.
I've always been around motorsport. I've been going to Mondello since I was 2-3 years of age.
Yeah.
Broke my arm in Mondello when I was 4.
What were they doing, letting you out in the Formula Shane at 4?
So I've always been around the sport. My dad, and I suppose how I got into it was my dad raced many years ago, and then he would have become he became a scrutineer in Mondello. He was a scrutineer for 28 years.
Okay, wow.
So we were always around Mondello, and then between competing on my side of things in car trials, and then getting involved in the organisation side of things. So I would have been on the Motor Enthusiast Club's committee. I would have been on race committee, and have done PR for the Phoenix Park Motor Races. So I've always been around the sport and very comfortable with the sport.
Okay.
So it's just
But if someone's listening now, a lady, if a girl, lady, a woman is listening now and saying to themselves, "I'd love to give that a go," like, is it an intimidating thing for a girl to come into?
No, not at all. I mean, it's a very friendly sport.
Okay.
It is a very friendly sport, except maybe when you might hit somebody and you might
part of the joy.
You might get a couple of fingers something thrown at you or
poked in the eye. Is there ever actually argy-bargy on the track? Like, you know, when you come off and somebody slams their helmet down, you went in front of me.
You went in front of me. What a terrible thing to do.
Yeah, you went in front of me and won. You got a checkered flag.
You get very hot-headed in the car. I mean, the adrenaline is pumping, and you see your red mist, and it's just, you'll do anything to stop the guy behind you getting past you.
That means slamming on the brakes.
No, it doesn't usually work too well because that'll slow you down.
That
but
could
it's making the car wide.
It's
trying to, and that's a skill that you learn over a period of time. It's taken me a while to learn that, to not leave the door open going into a bend, that it goes in the inside of you or goes around the outside. So for any girl who wants to start out. I suppose the thing is to start maybe karting and look at maybe doing just even trying to go to Kylemore or go to
Santry or wherever,
and see if they like the sport. And then I suppose the way of getting involved and getting come down to Mondello and maybe do some marshalling just to see if you actually like being involved. And if you like,
or even just go out and do a supercar trial for the laugh.
There are so many opportunities and so many days down in Mondello. Mondello have a great track experience, and you can go out and you can drive a number of
the racing school then. So you can get in and try out a race car without having to go and buy one. And
of course.
Of course you can.
We're kind of in December now. It's off season. Are you kind of sitting at work, kind of tapping away, kind of going, already thinking about next year now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm thinking about where I'm going to find the money for next year.
So like during the season now, on like a Wednesday or Thursday now, are you like totally distracted on work, just thinking of?
You start to I suppose we would go to the track usually on a Friday to test on a Friday if we're racing Saturday, Sunday. So I suppose I'm very lucky in that my car is run by my brother. My brother has a business, Dunleary Motorworks, and he would run a number of cars. He runs Globals. He's Striker Championship. He's raced for 5 years and is Striker Champion, and is now running Fiestas, and he's building Fiestas as well. So he would
where
start.
You can get our Fiesta
Now there you go.
Sponsored by Netflix.
It's
all happening.
So, get matching helmets.
So he is, on the car side of things, he is, prepping cars and getting them loaded into the truck on a Thursday evening to take them to Mondello, maybe Thursday night, if not Friday morning.
Truck and everything.
Oh yeah, we've got a truck. It's very fancy. Yeah.
That's just a high sort of ramp up the back. Squeeze it in there, lads.
That is genuinely fascinating, though. I think something that has that low a barrier to entry. Both in terms of cost and experience level. It really is tempting.
It's really easy to get involved now, and that's the thing is you go and get your Motorsport Ireland licence. Obviously you need a licence to race.
Okay.
So you go and do a course in, there's a Motorsport Ireland course that's done through Mondello, and that is part, obviously practical, getting to learn the track, but also there's a written test as part of that. So you need to know your flags. You need to know the rules of racing.
You know flags, conclusion.
Yeah, checkered. Boom.
Japan. What flags?
The Rising Sun.
Yeah. Botswana.
Yep. Know that one.
What's that?
Yeah. One next.
Okay, no.
Medical as well, I presume you've got to have.
Over a certain age, you
Yeah,
need a
yeah,
medical.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. If you're
So you still haven't had yours. You still haven't had
Definitely got to be Humphrey's driving car. He mightn't look the youngest, but he certainly
You need
is.
to be able to see where you're going.
Oh well, I'm out then.
Then that's it. So so I mean, I suppose there's a certain number of requirements to get through in the first instance. You need a car. Obviously, you're going to have to be able to either buy a car, and there's been a couple of cars for sale already, or get somebody to build a car for you.
And when you buy say if you went, you knew your mother-in-law had a correct era 1.25 Fiesta,
Yeah.
and you were able to get it for a steal, and then you spent your 1,600 quid on your kit. You then have to find someone who can put a roll cage. You can't.
Yeah,
It's not the kind of thing you're going to just go, well, I think I'll just lash it in with a bit of gaffer tape here. Should
Yeah,
be
It's
fine.
not like
It
IKEA
needs-
furniture.
No.
Yeah, I mean the roll cages, they're bolt-in roll cages, but you need to be, you need to know what you're doing.
But
So
there are
it's-
people out there like
It's not
doing
like putting in
motorsport
a-
Oh, there
who
is
can-
absolutely.
Child
Yeah,
car
that's
seat.
the thing.
Click it into place.
Isofix. Isofix roll cage.
That's probably not a bad idea.
There's an invention for you, Coop. Bring it
If
to
you
market.
could race any race car thing, like if you could choose
As you
any,
can tell, the expert here in this group is Stephen.
if you could choose any form of motor race thing, what would it be?
Well, I like saloons. I suppose I feel safe in a saloon. I have raced a striker in the past, and it's open, and you don't sort of have this. You don't have the same sort of level of security. So
Sorry,
I
what's
think
a striker?
striker, it's a kit car. Race them down. It's another
Oh,
class.
okay.
So I think something's in the saloons. So British touring cars. I mean,
Yeah.
anybody
What
who
about
races,
NASCAR?
would NASCAR's. I don't know.
That's
I
an
don't.
endurance
I
test, really,
don't
isn't
like.
it?
I don't
Just a
like racing on.
ball.
I will. Yeah, it's an oval.
Yeah.
And I.
And they usually all explode in a ball of flame.
Yeah, racing in the oval wouldn't appeal to me. Whereas circuits like Brands Hatch. I mean, I would have loved. The Fiestas actually went to Brands Hatch this year
No
for the
way.
Formula Ford Festival as the last race of the season.
Yeah.
And they had great fun, and I would love to race Brands Hatch. I've been round the track in a course car, but obviously haven't raced it. So hopefully we'll get to go to the Fiestas. We'll get to go to Brands Hatch again next
Yeah,
year.
cool. We could bring the engine room Netflix Fiesta over.
We totally will. Dunleary Motorworks
Available to,
are available to.
Yeah. You know me, I travel.
Looking to get you in the country.
Well, Nicola Watkins, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us and opening our eyes to not only motorsport in general, but also ladies in motorsport. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank
And
you
for
very
planting expensive seeds in Dave Moore's head now.
You know it.
I'd like to spend ridiculous money on ridiculous cars anyway.
I'll have
So.
to sell
But
my
it's
X5.
very no, it is it is the most reasonable form of motorsport at the moment.
Don't sell the X5. We could brand it up as the kind of
Support
like the
vehicle.
promoter sports vehicle. Like just get Netflix branding all over it. I'll do the Kia as well, and whatever car you get every week, you could just rebrand it.
I'll just use a race car.
Yeah, yeah.
Fine.
Nicola, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Everyone get Netflix.